What is going on, everybody? It's Alex coming back at you with another video, and today we are doing a realistic version of the mock draft because, according to my last mock draft, a lot of you guys did not really enjoy too much of the idea that I favored Justin Fields over Trevor Lawrence, but I wanted to add a personal twist. We're going to make this more realistic, what the teams would most likely do, so let's get down to it. Starting off with the number 1 overall pick, the New York Jets. This is a very interesting scenario because the question is, do you want to get your future, because Sam Darnold is obviously not the future, or do you want to get a generational style talent? Now, I don't really condone getting Ja'Marr Chase at 1, but I couldn't completely fault them for doing that. So the question is, do we think that Sam Darnold is the guy? And the question is, do they think Sam Darnold's the guy? My problem with taking Trevor Lawrence number 1 is because of the fact, obviously, I'm most likely going to be taking him. This is all on the fly. I'm not going to plan this shit out because you guys don't want scripted bullshit. Now, Trevor Lawrence, taking him at number 1 is only a question mark because people think that Adam Gase might be the reason why Sam Darnold sucks. Sam Darnold sucks since the beginning. I swear to God, this guy's been ass cheeks. I don't know why people get a hard on when they look at him, but he makes like 3 good plays a game. He's pretty much just a shittier Carson Wentz without the size. And to me, that seems a little bit overhyped when you think that he's the best prospect to come out in like the past 5 years. So I personally would take a quarterback here. I would take Justin Fields, but realistically, there is no better prospect in history, arguably, than Trevor Lawrence. You could have said Peyton Manning, could have said Andrew Luck, but Trevor Lawrence is that guy. Now at number 2, I had some arguments with some Giants fans and stuff on this. Tackle could be a need because I heard that Nate Solder, it's true, he hasn't been playing Patriots level. And you can't really when your quarterback holds the ball way longer. So that is a factor. But it is also true that Nate Solder is still like an average tackle, and average tackles get paid top 3 money. So that's something that we have to take into account here. But it is true, most of his money apparently is non-guaranteed anymore. So if it's not guaranteed, most likely could be cut just to save some extra cap, maybe put it into the defense. Because I would go Micah Parsons here just because I don't really think that losing Solder is going to be the best thing in the world. But theoretically, if they do cut him, A, they saved a shit ton of money from this year, but B, they can be able to invest in some more linebackers over the next couple years and be able to get a generational style talent. To go back-to-back drafts with tackles is something that's a big thing to do. It's a huge commitment, being able to take 2 tackles top 5. That's absolutely insane. But Penei Sewell is insane. And Penei Sewell has been arguably, he's probably the Orlando Pace of this generation. Like, the type of guy where you want to take him number 2, number 1 overall. I wouldn't blame the Jets, again, for taking Penei Sewell. And question is, do you want Micah Parsons there, or do you want Sewell? Now, you guys just paid big money for Martinez, so I don't really think Micah Parsons is going to be in here in the realistic draft. So either you go Ja'Marr Chase or Penei Sewell, and because you can't draft Justin Fields. I'm going to be going Penei Sewell here. We're going to be going with the draft board so far, and you guys are going to see a little bit of a theme continuing right here, but Penei Sewell getting somebody who could be the best tackle, arguably, in the NFL for 10 years to come, 15 years, 20 years to come. Granted, some tackles last that long. Frank Gore lasted at running back for 16 year when their average lifespan is 3. Anything can happen. But Penei Sewell is God tier for Oregon, and he's going to be God tier in the NFL. You can't really pass that up, similar to getting a franchise quarterback. And Daniel Jones needs the help. So save your money, be able to invest that with guys who you already know are going to work on the defense, because you don't really have time to develop your defense. You have time to develop your offense with a guy who is generational talent. I think Micah Parsons is good. He's amazing. But I'm saying, generationally, he's good. But Penei Sewell is top tier. Now, this is one of the easiest picks ever. I chose Penei Sewell here last time because I put Micah Parsons at 2. But, fucking Haskins got benched. He got from 1st to 3rd, just like that. They didn't even give him a shot at backup, so that's a very bad sign. And we all know Alex Smith, respect to him, he's not going to be a starter. Kyle Allen, respect to him, not going to be a starter. Now, very interesting situation here. Do the Dolphins want Ja'Marr Chase, Micah Parsons, or Rousseau? To me, I think the answer is pretty obvious here, and that answer is Micah Parsons. But we have to think about it. Jamar Chase is a top 3 type player in this class. I mean, he is just absolutely fucking insane. Like he's on another track when it comes to wide receiver grades. But at the same time, I don't know why it says wide receivers a need for Miami. I know Devontae Parker might be closing in on a contract if they haven't given him one already. But you still have Preston Williams. The guy's an absolute beast. And you have guys like Grant there. And they do have a lot of weapons. And a lot of good ones, too. That offense is cooking. I don't think the offense is the issue. I think defense is the issue. And I think they'll think the same exact way. And Micah Parsons is a perfect guy to pair with Jerome Baker back there. I would love that to death. Micah Parsons, I think that's a very reasonable pick. Again, obviously, you can't be perfectly realistic because no one knows what the damn draft's going to be. But we can hope that Micah Parsons is going to be that guy right there. Now, this pick, this is an interesting one. Because if the Jaguars are at 5, what's the realistic pick? To get a franchise quarterback, which the NFL realistically thinks Trey Lance is a franchise quarterback. If that's the case, I'm sorry, guys. There's no choice for me but to go Trey Lance here. Jamar Chase is somebody who you could take, but when you need a quarterback and there's a franchise guy, you take the franchise guy. That's the ultimate rule. And Trey Lance, I've heard top 10, top 5, top 3 rumors, like for God's sakes. So Trey Lance, North Dakota State, very good protecting the ball, amazing runner, definitely built for the modern day offense. And Minshew is somebody who I personally would have taken a guy like Gregory Rousseau. Well, I wouldn't have taken Gregory Rousseau. I would have taken Surtain or Jamar Chase in that case. Or even Kyle Pitts up at 5. I think that wouldn't be too horrible of a job. I mean, too horrible of an idea. But Trey Lance is an absolute beast. But he's definitely not that good. Now, Broncos. Another situation that they do not need a wide receiver. But Vaughn is getting old. Then again, when you have a guy like Patrick Surtain here, I think there's no way that you can pass up Patrick Surtain at this point. He's just an absolute animal. He's going to be an amazing guy to continue adding to the lockdown nature of the Broncos. Now, at number 7, there is some very nice pickings for the Dolphins. Again, in realistic drafts, there will be trades. I think that right at this point, the Jaguars could trade back. I think even the Broncos could trade back. Given the talent here. But at this point, you either go Jamar Chase or Gregory Rousseau, and it's ludicrous for Jamar Chase to fall this far. I think Gregory Rousseau will not be here in the draft. I think that he'll be actually more down the board. I haven't seen too much from him this year. I don't even know if he's playing this year for that matter. I've been watching a lot of Miami, and I've just not seen him show up at all. So for me, we're going to be going Jamar Chase. This is a value pick here. When you're picking your number 4 spot, you need to get like your best value and your need, because you can't really just continue stacking up on weapons. But at this point, this is where you can take somebody who is really nice. Jamar Chase, Micah Parsons, absolutely stud draft for the Dolphins. Continue to giving Tua weapons and build a defense. Now, the Bengals, we all know they need a tackle. This is their biggest issue in the world is offensive line. So they are going to be reaching here. However, I seriously think they're a little bit too low on Cosmi and Leatherwood. Cosmi is, to me, a top 15 player, and so is Leatherwood because of positional versatility. But we're going to be going Cosmi here. We've always seen these tackles who are scheduled at like 20 something. They'll rise to the top. You know, we have seen that before. So again, I wouldn't be too surprised. Andrew Thomas last year, I think he was scheduled to be around like 15. He's an excellent tackle, but he went number 5. So number 4 even. Jeez, that's even higher. But, there's guys who are valued by teams. And I think a guy like Samuel Cosmi, who's an excellent tackle, will be a great fit in this Bengals offense. Now, at number 9, Gregory Rousseau is falling, but that's not realistic. Realistically, Gregory Rousseau is not going to be top 10 player, in my opinion. He's young, he has juice, but he's not producing this year in the way I want him to. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't looked up the PFF grades. I'm not going to be paying $150 a year for all the stats and shit. But watching Miami, I just really haven't seen him show up. I've seen freaking Phillips show up more than he has, and that's a little bit scary. Roche's the real deal, though. Now, this is an obvious choice for me. Dylan Moses, you need to replace Luke Kuechly, and Dylan Moses is an absolute stud. the Panthers have hit a home run on their head coach, Matt Rule. Home run. I love it to death. So, no doubt in my mind, Dylan Moses there. At this point, this is where a guy who's young, who has potential, 6'6", 250 pounds, Gregory Rousseau, can definitely go. At this point, it would be ludicrous to say, even if he was top 15, he'll go number 10. Just, there's such a need there, and he has his potential's through the roof. Everybody gets injured on Atlanta anyways. They can just take the best option. Now, at this point, at number 11, this is an interesting one because I can see somebody like, where the fuck is he? Marvin Wilson could go at this point. But at the same time, there is this need of some extra speed on that team. And Jaylen Waddle deserves to be a top 10 pick. Watching him play, he's just a super weapon. He's an X factor. The Lions kind of need that infusion of youth and speed in that offense because you have Kenny Galladay, and I'm pretty sure Marvin Jones might get cut at the end of the season. You need that weapon, and Jaylen Waddle will be an excellent choice. Now, number 12, tackle is the biggest need here. Left tackle is huge, huge, huge. Now, I think that Leatherwood could fill any spot on the offensive line besides center. And fortunately for the Chargers, that's kind of a need. So being able to get Leatherwood at 12 gets you any position that he fits best at, which means that you can't really miss on Leatherwood. It's kind of a safe pick. You have an excellent quarterback now who surprised everyone to be honest, but Leatherwood, awesome. Love it. Now, there are problems with the line in Minnesota, and we're going to definitely take that into account. But we should also look at the other options here. You know, you do have guys like ETN who can go in that backfield, but again, you just gave Dalvin Cook a huge contract. It's just, I don't really like that at all. Dalvin Cook's a monster, don't get me wrong, but the dude gets injured way too often to give him all that money. Now, Shaun Wade could be an excellent choice here. I had this in my other draft, and Shaun Wade, I mean, I think that would be an excellent pairing. I forgot to get the name, Jeff Gladney. He was a first-round pick last year. I think he would be a great pairing with Jeff Gladney. But, I mean, at the same time, you might want to start looking for potential options like Wyatt Davis here on that offensive line, one of the worst units in the NFL. So we're going to be doing that. You know, we might as well give Kirk Cousins as few excuses as possible. Give him Wyatt Davis. Give him more time. Wyatt Davis, absolute stud. Watch Ohio State tape, and you'll see how big the running holes are. Absolute beast. Now, Raiders, this is an interesting team because you don't need DeVonta Smith. You don't need Kyle Pitts. And you just took a first-round corner. So the question is, what do you need? And you don't need a center because Rodney Hudson's getting old. But, I mean, you still got some years. You still have some tread left on those tires, you know. You could go Marvin Wilson here. Guy's an absolute stud. And it might be where we're going. Christian Barmore as well. I've heard some great things out of him. Very high PFF grades. But I think at this point, you have to go with the best guy available. And to me, that's Caleb Farley. Absolute beast. Amazing corner. One of the lowest quarterback ratings ever allowed. And he's 6'2", lightning fast, but his injuries have limited him to this spot. He's a top 5 player in the class, including the quarterbacks and Penei Sewell, if he's healthy. That's how good he is. But in the NFL, availability is pretty much everything, so it'll push him down quite a bit. But Caleb Farley, I mean, the Raiders will of course mess this pick up. Like let's go here. They'll go Rashad Weaver, okay. But you know, we'll stick to giving them a realistically hopeful pick with getting Caleb Farley. That kind of screws over the Cardinals. You know, this is a pick where I think they could trade back. Same thing with the Vikings. They could have traded back. But the Cardinals could have used Caleb Farley desperately. That being said, I know their tight ends are not an issue, but Kyle Pitts could be an excellent choice here. But we're going to be more realistic here. Kyler Murray can use an offensive lineman, but we're going to be going Tyson Campbell here. He's definitely more of a I assume he's a boundary style corner. I don't know too much about Tyson Campbell. 6'2". He's definitely going to be a boundary corner. Something you need when Pat Pete is starting to become more of a liability and more old. So being able to add him to that offense with Byron Murphy is going to be an absolutely amazing option. Being able to add that height back with the 6'2" guys. And that is going to be the best choice possible for the Cardinals at this point. Otherwise, I would have given them Creed Humphrey. Now, there's way too many problems with freaking Philadelphia right now. They could be going DeVonta Smith. I mean, you can load up that wide receiver core with 30 dudes, and 28 of them will get injured, besides Greg Ward and maybe DeVonta Smith. So, You never know, man. But there are a lot of issues on this team, and tight end is not one of them. And it's unfortunate because these guys both deserve to be really high picks, as well as Brevin Jordan. But at this point, like, where do you even go with this team? That's the real question. Where the hell do you even go? Kelsey, you're not going to be replacing him with Creed Humphrey. And at running back, you're not going to be replacing Miles Sanders. And at cornerback, they need a little bit of help because Big Play Slay ain't doing too good. He's just not doing too hot. But I mean, they could be going interior defensive lineman, but they don't even need it at this point. This is a spot where I would recommend to trade back, if we're gonna be honest here. But if you want to continue building this team's like extreme weapon base, you go Rondale Moore. The problem is you just drafted a wide receiver in the first round, and it's obvious the weapons are not the problem in Philadelphia. Like, their defense is starting to become really holed up, and their linebacking core is horrible. Horrible. If I was going to do a 2-round mock draft, I would add Nick Bolton in the second. That's my response. So if you guys are like, oh, they need a freaking linebacker, they do. But we're going to be going Shaun Wade here. Absolutely through the roof potential at cornerback. Yes, we went 3 cornerbacks in a row. That also could be a reason why they get him. But Shaun Wade, absolute beast. Definitely do not sit on Shaun Wade. Now, realistically, there's not too much to go for with the Bears quarterback situation, and hopefully they don't trade up and do some stupid shit again. I mean, I can see them trading up getting Kyle Trask, but at this point, I think they need to go for a weapon here. Rondale Moore, add some speed to that team. I don't really know too many burners on Chicago. They have an excellent depth when it comes to more of these route running style wide receivers, but dude, get some speed. Rondale Moore, he could be like the next super weapon. I think he's basically a better version of Henry Ruggs. He's absolutely amazing. I love him to death. Now, the Browns, they don't need a tight end, which is kind of freaky. I mean, they do need a tight end. I don't think Austin Hooper's the answer. But this is where they could be going Creed Humphrey and then let him sit for a year. Because, I mean, you have the familiarity with Baker Mayfield. You don't need ETN. There's just not really too much you need. And, realistically, let's just go Quincy Roche here. He's an absolute weapon for Miami. You guys need to watch him. He's fun to watch. Absolute weapon. Now, there's everything needed in New England right now, damn near. So we're going to give him DeVonta Smith. I think that's going to be an excellent option. Just give him a super weapon, and that's going to be the ultimate goal here. Now, interior defensive line-wise, there's amazing pickings right here for the Titans to pair up with their guy, Jeffrey Simmons. Now, Christian Barmore and Marvin Wilson. We're going to go Marvin Wilson here. I think Marvin Wilson is the better guy of the two, but that's because I don't know too much about Christian Barmore. That's just the unfortunate thing. Now, safety is a need for the Cowboys. I do agree with Camel Wolf here. However, there's just too good of options right here. I know that you guys just gave Jarwin a 4-year deal or something, but when you have the best tight end arguably to come out of college in a very long time, in my opinion, that is where you need to just go. You need to get Kyle Pitts here. Now, he'll also fit that offensive scheme so well. You have so many weapons. That's going to be just another freaky thing to get to add to that team. Now, the Colts, I mean, you guys have some issues with quarterback, but at the same time, I mean, there's not really too much to go to right now. I'm going to be going down a little bit. I don't think Paulson Adebo is something you need. I think Walker Little, being able to... Actually, no, we're going Trey Smith here. Being able to train him, he's going to be a tackle. Don't worry, guys. Don't go crazy. The interior offensive line is insane for the Colts. He's going to be able to train at tackle, former 5-star, number 1 tackle in the country. He's going to be able to train behind Costanzo, and Costanzo, who's going to retire soon, will be able to go out on a high note with his replacement there. You need all the help you can get on that team. Let Trey Smith sit for a year and be able to nurture everything from the best talent to continue this extremely insane reign of the best offensive line in the NFL. Now, Niners, God only knows what the fuck you need. There's not really much this team does need, and that's why I'm a little bit confused on where to go here. I mean, we can go Christian Barmore and pair him up on the interior with who the hell did they get from last year? Guy out of South Carolina. I don't even know. But I mean, at this point, this is a trade back spot. But for us, we're going Paulson Adebo since you can't really go back too far. Just add another corner from Stanford. Continue the train. of like solid corners there in San Francisco, you might as well. Now, at this point, like, what do you want to do as the Jaguars? You're going to get Pat Freiermuth, for God's sakes. Like, it's finally time that Pat goes at this point. I think the Steelers could honestly pick him up if he falls with one more spot, but Pat Freiermuth needed right there. As a Steelers fan, I know how old Pouncey is, so I think Creed Humphrey could be an excellent option here. Honestly, that's where we're going to be going. He's going to be able to learn, worst case scenario, or fill in at a guard spot. We have Hunt there, and he's doing a pretty damn good job. But being able to increase the youth on this team is the ultimate priority. I think that's an excellent option for the Steelers. Continue to protect Big Ben as he ages. Now, Saints, you have a lot of problems. Your team, your roster doesn't, but obviously when you play, it does. Now, where do we go with you? That's the ultimate question. Where do we go with you? The corners are all gone. You can go with Asante Samuel Jr., but that's a little bit of a stretch. I mean, you guys are the best at being able to deal with kind of, getting the best value for your pick. So at this point, I'm looking at Brevin Jordan, and I'm really liking it. You have an aging dude as your tight end. I'm literally blanking on his name, Jared Cook. Might as well allow Jared Cook 2.0 plus blocking with Brevin Jordan. I honestly think that he could be better than Pat Freiermuth. Brevin Jordan's an absolute beast. He deserves to be in this first round. I love him. You guys need to watch him. Bottom line. I think that'd be an excellent option. Help Drew Brees in this short game as he prepares to retire, or help whatever the hell other quarterback, Jabu Winston, just give him a tight end to throw to. Now, the Bills, yeah, you guys can use a tackle. They don't really have too many needs at this point, so we're going to be giving him Dylan Radunz. Might as well, right? I mean, just continue to protect Josh Allen any way possible. Realistically, I could go ETN here, but we've seen the NFL be so scared of these running backs where even guys who could be in this first round territory, which I would have put ETN in this first round, these guys have a 3-year lifespan, so they need to, they're pushed back. Like, we had guys who people were saying they should be in like the top 20, get pushed back to like CEH going number 32. We had multiple first round running backs who were just pushed back. ETN's an absolute weapon here though, which is why I could honestly see him going to Tampa Bay, but that's not realistic whatsoever, guys. We all know this. Rashod Bateman is kind of realistic, though. Add him with, the question is, you have Scotty Miller as your number 3. Being able to add Rashod Bateman, we all know Tom Brady has a limited lifespan on, limited window right now. And being able to get a guy like Rashod Bateman is the best way possible to get a Super Bowl. So I think that's the most realistic thing. They're going to be looking to give Brady as many weapons possible to be able to just do shootouts. And how can you throw short with a guy who can run routes? Who can run routes? Rashod Bateman. So that's my logic there. Now, Green Bay, we're going to speed this up a little bit. Green Bay, they could finally use some weapons, It's about damn time. And ETN, it's unfortunate. Can't really do much there. And of course, the one time they're looking for weapons, it's Barron, right? So where do we go here? We're going to go Josh Myers. We're going to be able to give Aaron Rodgers at least some form of interior offensive line talent. Out of Ohio State, absolute amazing coaching there at Ohio State, being able to train some of the best offensive players in the nation. Now, the Ravens, again, kind of low on most of the skilled players, apart from Kwity Paye and Aiden Hutchinson, which I don't think Kwity Paye is as good as Aiden Hutchinson, so we're going to be going there. But, yeah, the Ravens team's just stacked. You might as well just continue just helping them out. Now, you got your starting quarterback, right? Give him his running back too, right? Why the fuck not? Give ETN over there with T-Law, be able to develop a super powered team. And of course, Travis Etienne will probably die after 3 years, which then, of course, 4th year, don't give him his 5th year contract, and he's gone. So be able to make the most out of your 3-year span. Le'Veon Bell is not the option. He is not the option. Now, finally, we are at pick 32. The Chiefs are looking at quite a stacked board, but when you have a guy like Patrick Mahomes who needs protection, where do you go? You go either a guy out of Clemson or a 6'8", 400-pound monster to finish it off. And I think that's going to be the highlight of the draft here. Number 32 pick, you get the biggest dude ever. So that is the draft. Obviously, I'm not going to please everybody's picks here. We just thought about what could be realistic, what do teams need, and what's really good value on the board. Some guys fell farther than I thought, and you might say that's unrealistic, but let me know what you guys think. Obviously, this is the most opinionated, arguably, apart from politics, this is the most opinionated thing in the world, sports. So let me know what you guys think. Hit that subscribe button. We're at 84. Of course, we're going to drop to like 20 after this video. But we're at 84. Let's reach 100. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the far side. Peace.